Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy KlueDaDon, Country Fan Mail Podcast. Got a really special episode coming in today. As promised, gonna be my homie, DJMED. Say what's up to the homie. What's good? Good. He is coming onto the podcast to interview me. We're gonna have an interview with me so y'all can get to know me a little bit better. So, it's interesting having the camera turned on you, even though the camera's always on me, but more so having the mic pointed at me. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, man.
For sure. Man, thank you for having me on your platform. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you for, I guess, just like the bond that we built like recently, over the last few years. I know we've known each other for like years, but, just through recent events and whatnot, we just became super tight. And so I'm really appreciative of that. And I'm really appreciative to have been able to like witness and see your growth. And see like who you're becoming. You're not a finished product yet, but man, I definitely see you making strides towards, what it is that you're trying to do. But this is Country Fan Mail, right? So we're gonna start this off properly. So what was the first song that you listened to whenever you woke up this morning?
I literally had to maybe about 30 minutes ago go back and look at it because I was just like, who am I to not know the first song I listened to when I woke up this morning? It's crazy. But for me, it was between two. I'm not 100% sure which one it was, but it was I Love You More Than You'll Ever Know by Black Party. Black Party, he just dropped a new CD. If you haven't listened to Black Party, he's amazingly dope. He has features from Saba, from Gwen Bunn, from really dope people. But anyways, he's a really dope artist. It was either that song or Twin Flame by Kountry and Anderson .Paak. The reason why I'm not sure which song it was is because that damn Twin Flame song has been on my head since I heard it. Like, I used to walk around like, Twin Flame? Like, I just be hitting it. So yeah, those was it.
All right, for sure. So I think anybody that has like followed you or just been a fan of you or just know you just like personally, right? They can tell that you just have a super like eclectic range of music, right? So talk to me about where that sort of like stems from.
Interesting question. Honestly, I would have to attribute any of my music likeness or likingness to my sisters. I had two older sisters. I would say Q and M. So I'll save them for, so I don't want them to have the paparazzi at their door and shit. But you got Q and you got sister Q and sister M, and both of them, like I said, older sisters. So I got to experience, even though I was born in 1991, I got to really experience 90s R&B because they were playing it like. People say you are really a late 90s, 2000s kid. No, fuck that. I was a 90s baby because I got to, so I got to see all that because of due to my sisters. And they were hella eclectic. One of my sisters, Sister M, she was a singer herself, or she is a singer. She would do a lot of different shit, R&B, even heard her tapping with some country. She always reminded me, like, she always gave me Lauryn Hill vibes. She's really the reason why, she's the reason why I love music, for real. And then Sister Q, she used to work at a radio station like when she was in high school. Like, this is like little shit that I didn't realize until I got older and she told me. But she had like a little radio gig for like a little high school radio station or something like that. And she was really eclectic too. She liked a little country and a little pop. I remember she used to love Pink and shit like that, and Gwen Stefani, No Doubt and all that, so like I was all with that. She just, to been around that track. I was in all that shit, I wasn't hollering back at no girls. Yeah. So yeah, like, but, yeah, my sisters for sure, are definitely, majority of the reason for sure.
All right. So for sure. All right, so you talked about being born in 91, right? But still feeling like you had were able to get like a lot of that like 90s culture. Just talk to me a little bit about what it was just like growing up for you, even just like outside of music, like where are you from? Let the people, if you're that comfortable,
no, for sure,
know where you're from, like, how it is that you came up.
Yeah, open book, 100%. So I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was born on Kirkland Air Force Base, if I'm not incorrect. My mama correct me, but yeah, definitely Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was there up until I was around maybe about 5 years old, 6 years old, and then my mom and dad got divorced or separated. And then we moved to Mooresville, North Carolina for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then essentially to Charlotte, North Carolina, which Mooresville probably at this point is probably part of Charlotte, as big as Charlotte's got. But for people who from there, Mooresville back in the 90s was little bitty, maybe 3 elementaries, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school type shit. Two traffic lights, 1 fire station type shit. But yeah, so that's that's pretty much how I transitioned over to the South, from the Southwest to the South. Pretty much been in North Carolina up until I think I left my junior year of high school. My junior year of high school, I moved up to Annandale, Virginia. That's where our paths started to cross. So yeah, I moved up to Annandale. Went to Annandale High. I moved up to Alexandria. Went to Annandale High and graduated, and then went off to the military, and the rest is history. But been around the world a little bit.
For sure. All right, so before we get to been around the world part, right? Talk to me about how, because we've had debates before, right? About like music and how, and your stance has always been the South doesn't really get a whole lot of credit, right? So talk to me about how you think, right, that growing up in North Carolina, about how that has sort of had some sort of like influence on you, your taste in music, how you view the world. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's a really good questions. You making me a better interviewer. Listen to your questions. These are really good questions. So for me, growing up in North Carolina, it was interesting. It was really interesting because, I was, 5'6" by the time I moved there. So I had already kind of had a little bit of an understanding of how shit was, or how shit was supposed to be, maybe. I had, we knew every neighbor on the street in New Mexico. I still remember the shit. We knew every neighbor. All of them were white except for the next door neighbor, who was an Indian guy who was married to a white woman. So it was just like they were all white, but they was all cool. It wasn't none of, everything was blah, blah, blah. But then when you move to the South, that's when I had started experiencing my first instances of racism, but not necessarily like just like blatantly in your face all the time. Some of them were, but not necessarily just blatantly in your face all the time. More so even about the community that we were in. Like we moved to an all black, essentially all black hood type shit, and that was kind of a culture shock. Even that then, it wasn't nothing, crazy. I mean, it got crazy, but it was just like a culture shock type thing. But the one thing, to answer your question, long story short, the one thing that I always loved about the South is that the South has always found a way to take the bullshit that people don't want and to make it into something that they wanted. Because I feel like the time that we actually really got into like the real, really dope groove, making a beat, making and shit like that, is when people took all the shit that people didn't want. When people really started doing shit with the 808s, it was in the South. And the 808 used to be like the throwaway, used to be like the underbeat, like the put that in there maybe to make it sound good at the end. Then the 808 started actually being the thing that carried it. So it's like, it kind of just changed the game. So, we did it with gumbo. We did with, so, it's like we did with like the South, and then also I'm proudful about the South, because it's like anywhere, anybody else, I'm just like, y'all niggas came from the South. So y'all remember that, right? I always had to remind these Cali niggas out here. I be like, yo, I love Cali. Like, it's all love. But you remember y'all's grandmas was from Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? So but hey, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, what I'm saying? It's a certain pride. And the thing I also think about the South is that the South we don't hate on nobody else. The South, I feel like Southern artists, we always have a way, Southern artists, they always have a way of connecting with different coasts and different shit like that and make it pop. Like, you always see somebody in the South popping on the West. You always see somebody on the West that can go to the South and pop too. You always see people from the North wanting to come, you know, Bad Boys South. You had fucking, you know, saying, 50 Cent was trying to do something on the West through his connection with people through the South. I don't know, I'm just speaking on speculation shit off the Clubhouse. But anyways, so what I'm just saying is like the South connection. I'm gonna shut up, 50 gonna take my money, man. But now for real, it's like this, honestly, the South does connection. I feel like, you know, a lot of the people who really run the game are from the South. Some of the most respected people in the game right now, you know, are from the South. So not to take away from any other coast. Every coast has been instrumental. I can never say hip hop started in the South. Of course, that would be a lie, right?
Right.
But that,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, that smooth talk, that player talk, I feel like the South has a different version of conscious. You know, a lot of people would say that the conscious movement really happened in the Midwest. I think it started in the South and then evolved in the Midwest. I like to argue anybody to the grave about that. I think the conscious movement started in the South and then evolved in the Midwest. At me.
Yeah. For sure. I'm gonna let you have that one, right? All right, I'm gonna let you have that one. But earlier, you know, you mentioned being able to, you know, moving up to Annandale and then, you know, being able to travel like around the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with you being a veteran, of course, you know, thank you for your service.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Talk to me about what it was like for you to go ahead and travel around the world and be outside of American culture and see what that culture's like. Music, did that have like an impact on you? Do you have like a favorite spot where that music came from? So that's a whole lot of questions that I'm asking you. So let's start small, right? So talk to me about what it was like, the shift in culture, right? Moving to somewhere new outside of the U.S.
So I think the best place for me to start this is like, so I'm gonna start one place and I'm gonna jump a little bit. So when I first graduated out of basic training, we got our phones back. You get your phones taken away. You have no communication. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no texting, calling, shit like that. So you get your phones back literally the day we're packing up our shit. And the first 2 CDs that I downloaded, you're probably gonna laugh about. No, you know, it's you probably gonna, you assume it was Attention Deficit by Wale. It came out while I was in the pen, and Thank Me Later by Drake. Those are the 2 CDs that I downloaded, and the reason why that is significant is because those are the only 2 CDs that I actually had, or 2 albums that I had on my phone for like 6 months. And like, I didn't have anything else downloaded. Everything else I had to go on, like, you know, online, and I had to, you know what I'm saying, do all this shit like that and whatever. Cause, you know, different time back in 2010. This is crazy. Yeah. So, I moved to Japan. I was in tech school for a little bit in Florida, and then I moved to Japan. And the reason why this, like I said, this is still again significant because I moved to Japan and I don't know nothing. It was like the middle of the night. Like my supervisor picked me up and was like, "Hey, we didn't think you were coming for 2 weeks, so we're gonna put you in the hotel for a week until your dorm's ready. You good with that?" And I'm just like, "I guess. I mean, shit, is that is I'm outside." So it's like, you know, I'm in this hotel. It's like 3 a.m. It's like 2 in the afternoon where I'm from. So I'm just like up like shit. And I'm just playing this music over and over again. So one night I ended up finding myself walking downtown. I went off base. I walked off the gate and was walking downtown, and it wasn't super late. It may have been like 7 or 8, whatever. I was walking downtown and I see this guy and I'm just like, is this Japanese nigga had dreads? And I'm like looking, and I'm still like, you know, so I'm like walking. I get close to this motherfucker, and sure enough, this motherfucker has dreads. And I, for the life of me, I can't remember his name. I'm a tag somebody in this, so hopefully they can tag this person. But they used to call him the Japanese Lil Wayne, or the Masao Lil Wayne. Cause I'll tell you, this cat had dreads going down his ass. there was this shop that he used to own. So if any of y'all have been on my Instagram where you see me taking a picture where I'm jumping and I got like my arms like that, and there's this like this emblem, kind of like this logo behind me, that was the Japanese shop that it all links in. So long story short, to answer your question, man, Japan, I was gonna say Japan has it's definitely that was the only overseas spot that I actively served. I'll say it like that. It definitely influenced my ear on hip hop a lot. Like being able to, go out into their culture and actually go to like some of their stores and pick up what they would consider hip hop and listen to them, and you can't understand a fucking word they're saying, but it just is beautiful. I mean, shout out to Nujabes. If you don't know who Nujabes is, if you like Adult Swim, you've heard Nujabes. If you watch any version of Adult Swim in the last 20 years, you've heard Nujabes. That's just how instrumental he is. He was a Japanese hip hop / jazz artist. He got really instrumental by fusing those two. People compare him to Jay Dilla. They call him the Jay Dilla of Japan. So it's like he's like that. So it's like, or he was like that. I want to say he died in a car accident. Literally, I want to say the same year that Jay Dilla died. So yeah, there's that. So but yeah, so that dude, he just he shaped shit. And the thing about being overseas is that and I was in the UK for a little bit I feel like they took the part of hip hop that was super pure, and then they kept it, and it didn't get tainted somehow. Like somehow they've been able to keep it to a certain place where it don't get tainted, and it's weird.
Talking about Japan, or you talking about the UK?
Talking about overseas, man.
Just overseas,
yeah,
period.
overseas.
Okay.
Like, so I think there's so many different places. I don't want to. I only shout out the ones that I can specifically speak to, but definitely Japanese hip hop. Definitely, there's definitely some cats out there in Nigeria. There's definitely, I guess I don't even know if you would necessarily even consider that hip. There's a fine line between if you would consider that hip hop or not, but I definitely think it has those. Those roots from hip hop, and definitely when you go to the UK, you got people like I think his name is Loyal Kyle Loyal. I'm really mad that I can't think of his name right now, but you have so many different artists overseas that I feel like, and not to shit on anybody from the United States. Clearly, I do what I do, here for a reason. But I just think there's just a level of authenticity that they got from us that they allow to stay there, and it doesn't get to that point of taintedness where it's just like, what the fuck? Like, this is what we listening to now. Because there's some of y'all I'm just like, yeah, this is to y'all. But if the shoe fits, for sure.
For sure. Give me your thoughts, right? Because we're talking about overseas and just sort of like their culture, their music. But now we even see like a lot of their music, right? And I think it's like it comes in waves. So like in the early 2000s, right, you saw like a lot of like reggae or like island type music for a good man.
It had a long run.
Yeah, it had like a good 6-year stretch, right? Sure. And then, I guess, I'll say the South kind of like took over for a little bit, right? Between snap music,
just a little bit,
just a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. But you see, like another wave coming, right? Give me your thoughts on, I'll say second wave, but it's always just been like this. Even back in the 90s, it was like this. But give me your thoughts on like this latest wave of like
drill music,
global music, like influencing American music. I mean, you got like one of the hottest tracks out right now is "Be in London," and you got J. Cole rapping over there like he's from he's from London.
He did that shit though.
Yeah, it killed it. But even people like Burna Boy, right?
Shout out to Burna Boy.
Becoming huge, and CK and all these different like artists. Give me your thoughts on what it's like to see like the global wave taking over Americanized music again.
Beautiful. Honestly, I think it's beautiful. One of the, shout out to 19 Keys. He's a cat that be doing podcasting, and he has a Earn Your Leisure podcast. 19 Keys. Uh, Something conversations. What is it? High level conversations. High level conversations with 19 Keys. But he said something that really stuck out to me, and it was like, as soon as he said it, I was just like, I don't like to just man people, but when you write, you write. He was just like, hip hop is the strongest form of communication in the world by influence and by reach. It's literally unmatched. It just is. There will be songs on the pop culture, on the country culture, K-pop, whatever, you know what I'm saying, Indian, I don't know what you would call their music. I don't want to sound ignorant, but on all these different platforms that might be, I mean, unless it's that one, that song go hard, but there's songs on like, but there's songs that will go parabolic on their side that us in the culture would never hear, or we might hear it a little bit, but we don't know it's that big. Versus you have songs like The Box. You can play that shit in fucking Bangladesh and they will go the fuck off. I know they will, because it's like, and it shows by the numbers. So I feel like seeing people like, and also shout out to I can't think of his name, the actor from Snowfall, the main character. Somebody had came, well, he was on the Breakfast Club, and I think Charlamagne asked one of his stupid ass questions, and he was saying something about him acting as an American actor. Like, people were trying to like talk about why wasn't there a African American actor doing that role versus an English American. He was just like, hey, listen, us English actors would love for more American actors to come over and play our roles. He was like, Denzel Washington playing a UK role? Bring that shit. Like, I would love to fucking see it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like us as African Americans, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, we kind of shelter ourselves when we don't branch out. So to hear J. Cole on that shit, I was fucking bugging, because I was just like, he still sounded like him, but then we hit the accent. I sounded like a London bloke. Like, he just fucking went in. I was just like, nigga, what? So, so he had it. Same with Burna Boy, you know what I'm saying? But even though Burna Boy is, of course, an overseas artist, he reaches out with so many. I mean, he had crazy features on his album. Ed Sheeran, fucking Kehlani, goddamn, motherfucking, But if you don't know, go check out Burna Boy's last album. It's crazy, but I think that the international movement are working with, and honestly, shout out to artists that didn't get the credit for doing that shit too, like The Baby. I don't know if he was still on the edge. I think Shawty had pulled his verse from that song, but that song, is it Brazilian Girls or Peruvian Girls or some shit, and he like ripped the first verse, and like it was like a big international hit, and I want to say she actually pulled his verse out that song after all the saying the bullshit with him. So there's a lot of artists that do a lot of international moves that I think that it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? I think that more of it needs to happen. And I think that everybody deserves to have their own individuality throughout it all. You know what I'm saying? I don't want Southern artists to start sounding like they're from the UK all the time. Like, like, nigga.
Small doses.
A little bit.
And if you can't do it on J. Cole level,
just don't try it. Just don't try it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, there's not too many rappers that can speak Spanish like Kendrick Lamar and D Smoke. So if you can't switch from English to Spanish like them two, just don't try it, because it's gonna be disrespectful. Don't do a Tiger. I'm just playing.
He said it, not me. All right, so we talked a lot about music. Let's talk about you just personally, like as a band, right? So a lot has happened to you recently, right? Good stuff, right? Yeah. Wifey, and I
shout out to Wifey.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give honor where honor is due. But I believe that she had a kid already, right?
Two.
Yeah. All right, so right, talk to me what it's like for you stepping into that father role.
Man, bro, like, man, that's. Oof. I don't even know why I wasn't prepared for this question.
Going from none to two.
Um, but that's a good question. Honestly, if I had to look at it as like overarching, like overall, it's been one of the most craziest, dopest experiences in a very short amount of time. Shout out. I'll just call him the boy and the girl. That's what she calls him, anyways. So shout out to the boy. He's in Marine basic training right now. He's out there. He's actually going through the crucible this week. So hopefully everything goes good. He's gonna be considered the actual Marine next week. So dude out there doing his thing. And the girl, she is hella smart, hella articulate, hella like my nemesis at the same time. Like she just be like starting shit with me, and it's so funny. But she's like hella dope too. She's a really good kid. It's man, it's really interesting. It makes you watch everything you do, and when you do something stupid or bad or dumb or ignorant, it's just like fuck, like because it used to just be me and myself, me and my dog. Like man, my dog, man, listen, if that motherfucker could talk, like man, I'd be incriminated like shit. But now it's like to have, what I'm saying, and it was only the boy that was living, that was with us, living in the house. So, but even then, it was, a good year. And, yeah, it opened my eyes up to a lot. It definitely, it showed me a lot of different things, It showed me a different side of parenting. It showed me a lot of the things that I was taught as, just coming up, because I don't have any children of my own. A lot of things that I was taught were definitely not right and should not be implemented on children, so not necessarily because I tried it, but it was like having conversations with, with my wife, and then understanding that step-parent role, because that's a really interesting place, the children damn near grown, and, shout out to their father as well, he's, it ain't like he's not there. So, so it's like, it ain't like you coming in to some kids that need a daddy. You ain't coming in to shit outside of, your household with your wife that has a child, and you're another adult there that can be there if they need you. That's pretty much, what it is. And it was a learning process, I summed all that up really quick, but it was a long learning process, a lot of battles, a lot of internal battles, and shit like that. And
yeah, for sure. You don't have to go too deep on this, right? But I'm going to ask you, I've been framing like a lot of my questions like open-ended, but I'm just asking you this like directly, right? Or to just name sort of just like one thing. What do you feel like is the number one what do you feel like is the number one thing that you've learned about yourself through your experience with fatherhood like thus far?
The number one thing that I've learned about myself.
If you want to let that marinate, we can come back.
Yeah. Let's bring that back. Because I don't want to add too much dead time. Because I'm gonna have that sit. Yeah.
No, for sure.
You're definitely a DJ. You're definitely a DJ, because I'm so glad that you know about dead air and keeping the shit going. Because if I was just here with somebody else, we would have been here like. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. But yeah, for sure.
Oh man, yeah. Oh man. All right, so I'm gonna give you this space, right, to talk a little bit about your wife. Not necessarily going to ask you any questions about her, but I just want to give you the space to just talk about what she means to you. You can talk about why it is that you chose her or y'all chose each other. Just giving you the chance to really just pick up your partner and your spouse.
For sure. I definitely appreciate that, man. So yeah, man, shout out to the wifey. Pisces or Shay. Y'all know, I might know about some other names, but yeah, we came into each other's life on some really interesting shit. On a dating app, like on some real like, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, like I was not on there for no wife. I wasn't on there for that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy how shit happens. And she knows that, she technically,
I know you. I know.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I know
so
for
yeah,
sure.
So yeah, it just listen. This man is man, he knows some shit, man. Like, but but yeah. So it's like, yeah, we came into each other's life on some real genuine type shit. It was we were still trying to kind of figure out some shit on each other's end, but we're definitely still feeling each other. And it was kind of like one of these all or nothing type situations, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that's really the best way that I can explain it. It was really all or nothing, you know what I'm saying? I met her in very late November, December, and we got married in May. So yeah, we just said fuck the bullshit. Let's let's go ahead and do it. And so yeah, we just celebrated our year anniversary last May, and we're still going strong. First 5 years of marriage, I believe that first 5 years of marriage are definitely the hardest. I've never been married for 5 years, so this is my second marriage. So but there was a lot of things that I had going on for myself, or that I felt like I had going on for myself. And I thought things were really going in a way, but I realized that I really didn't have the right in-house support system that I really truly needed. So once I had to go through the phase of clearing house and really, this was, big, big scale, you go through the level of big clearing house and, really just taking that time, fooling around, fucking around, doing my thing. And, kind of getting myself together. I started to realize really who should be that real, or who could potentially be that real in-house support. And, when I tell y'all, man, when y'all find that person that really is like, really gonna be that person to help you take it to the next level, and not because they have something that you can leverage from them, it's not nothing like that. Because I'll tell you straight up, it wasn't until about 8 months, maybe 9 months later, that we were really together that she even got involved with my podcast. But even her being around and her being that motivation, that's when shit really started to change for me. That's when things really started to happen. That's when I had the motivation to do these things. That's when I had the inspiration. That's when I was like, those times when I wasn't working and bills were tight, bills were paid, but bills were tight. And we were just like, and I'm just like, man, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I need to get back to work. She was just like, no, stay the course, stay the course, stay the course. You did this to do this, you know what I'm saying? She was dead ass telling me, so I'll just be 100% honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, I left my job to do this shit full time. It wasn't bringing in money. At this point, I was just pushing out money, and money that I didn't even have at the point. So I'm just like, when is this shit going to actually be worth something? I'm getting 20 hits, 15 hits per list per episode. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just fucking crazy. At this point, I was recording 4 times a week. Like, literally, I'm like going hard. This is before I was doing interviews super heavy. I was recording 4 or 5, so just on the regular podcast. I'm just like, what the fuck? What's going on? So I the moment where I'm not gonna lie, I applied for this job, and it was the exact same job that I was doing in Texas, just for a different company. I was working, government contractor, I have to say that. And the exact same job that I was doing, and, decent pay, would have been doing good. When interviewed, everything, they offered me the job, and I was just like, something doesn't feel right. Like, something does not feel right. And I declined the job, and I was shitty about it for like 2 months, because nothing changed really quick. Nothing. I was just like, fuck. Like, I was shitty about it. And then all of a sudden, come like, I think it was like maybe March, April of this year, like, shit it just started picking up. Like, it started picking up. I think my first decent interview actually is probably my highest listened interview. Shout out to 4200 Corey out there in Indianapolis. I ran his interview, which was like a reschedule, and like, it was like a whole bunch of shit, and like, it just shot the fuck up. Like, it was like 100 views, 200 views, 300 listens. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, my last episode before they got 20, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm just like, and I don't get in. Listen, let me go ahead and make this very, very, very fucking clear. KlueDaDon, Country Family Network, Black Wall Music, LLC, Why I Love Podcast, none of them other goddamn subsidiaries have never bought, paid for, and or asked anybody to listen to my shit outside of their own fruition. I ain't bought no listens. I have no idea what the fuck happened. But the shit really just popped the fuck off. So had I not kept with that energy and kept with doing the interview, it would have never happened. And I don't know. It just completely changed my mindset. And honestly, I have to attribute that to my wife. Like, I have to attribute that to her because had I been by myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I got hella insecurities about being homeless, you know what I'm saying? I was homeless, you know what I'm saying, for a little bit, you know, evictions and shit as a kid, you know, I kind of skipped over that a little bit when you asked me about my past, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, little shit like that, I got insecure. I would have been like, nah, you know, but actually being able to have a partner that can really bring you back to surface and be like, all right, listen, you don't have a job, but you are still getting paid. I got, you know, I'm a veteran, disability, So I got some coming in, which is a lifesaver. And you left something really, really good because you believed in yourself. So to literally just give it up now, like it would just be a slap in the face to everybody that really that believed in you. And she didn't necessarily have to say that just like that without her having to really say that. And you know what I'm saying, it helped out. You know, don't get me wrong though, you know what I'm saying, nigga definitely got a job. But it's not something that takes me away from my podcast. It's something that I can still do my podcast and still go to school and shit. So yeah, it helps out.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Shout out to her. I wrote something down here just because I don't want to forget it. But I also just want to give you the chance to tie it back to music, right? If you had the opportunity, oh man, I got so many questions.
Oh, no, it's all good.
I'm gonna try and stick with it this way. If you had the opportunity, right, to describe or frame your relationship, right, as a song, what song would it be?
God damn. That's a good ass question. I think that I think that excuse me. I think that for me, I would have to say this has probably been one of my favorite songs, and I discovered it when I met her. It was Home Vacation by Salam Remy and can't think of the cat that's singing on it. But he's the same cat that'd be like we did in the 90s. I can't think of that guy. But anyways, I'm gonna find it while we're talking about it. But yeah, so that song right there, the reason why is you know, like the one thing about Shay is that I've never really been in a situation that, you know, meeting somebody from, you know, over long distance and having that opportunity to connect, and not in like a corny ass way, but really being able to, I've never really seen myself old with anybody. Never been able to see myself, never been able to position myself in that situation. And if I'm being 100% honest, anytime that I tried to picture myself in like a old type of state, it would kind of go away, and I'll be like, well, shit, I guess I ain't gonna live to be old. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like my fucked up, you know what I'm saying, just humor in my mind. I'm thinking like that. I was like, shit, I guess I ain't gonna live that far. But it's like Mac Wilds, Salam Remy and Mac Wilds. Oh yeah. But anyways, so that song right there, it kind of, you know, even the video, the visual, really, it depicts this young couple, and you know what I'm saying, they don't, you know what I'm saying, they probably living in this like super ragtag apartment, you know what I'm saying, not really a lot, you know what I'm saying, shit kind of just pieced together, nothing matches, everybody just, you know what I'm saying, but they are so in love with the moment right then, and just in loving what the moment is right then. And that's one thing that Shay has always been able to make me do. It kind of brings me back to J. Cole, Love Yours. she always is able to bring me back to being like, listen, you want that, but love this because this is what you have. And that's fine. You can want that, you know what I'm saying? But don't forget about what you have in the pursuit of what you're trying to get. And that's been a flaw of mine in my life. It's definitely been a flaw of mine. Sometimes, you know, especially when I move, I'm transient as fuck. I move around a lot. I mean, I've lived in a lot of places since you met me. So it's like I move around a lot, and I'm completely fine with that. And when I move sometimes I think that when I move, people stop thinking about me. Like, that's how I think. So I'm like, well, they're not thinking about me, so I should move on too. But then I end up fucking up relationships like that because I don't try to foster relationships after I move. So because I'm thinking like everybody got their own life going on, I'm just like, ain't nobody worried about Klue. Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Klue just, you know, he just that nigga over there doing his podcast, trying to tell niggas listen to his podcast, getting pissed off every once in a while because niggas ain't listening to his podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I think that, you know what I'm saying? Like, people see me. And then, so it's like, I just be like, cool. Like, I don't be tripping. You know, everybody got their own life. You know what I'm saying? You know, I reach out, you know, so I'll tap in. You know how I am. Like, when I can tap in, I tap in. You know, I'm always, you know, so I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there might be a time where I might be gone for a week, but I ain't really gone. I just maybe not responded to shit. But it's like I'm there though. So it's like, but not everybody works like that. And then because of social media, because of the internet, shout out Charles Gambino, because of social media, I feel like people sometimes get confused when you don't hear from somebody for a couple of years. They think that y'all ain't cool no more because there's somebody who they ain't seen in that same amount of time, but they talk to them every single day online or every week online, or they see them post all the time online. But we ain't friends on Facebook, or we ain't, you know, something or the other, and I see you, and it's just like it's a problem, or so, or it's like, you know, we ain't cool. But it's like I said, literally, it's like because of the internet, I don't really know how to feel about it. So it's interesting, man. It's really interesting. You know what I'm saying, trying to, you know what I'm saying, foster those relationships. But, you know, it really, like I said, it just makes you, I've been trying my best to just, you know, really appreciate what I have and trying to do better about those things, you know, especially for the relationships that I do want to foster, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, even if I'm like, sometimes I just be in a shitty mood and I don't even be wanting to laugh. But if I'm like that, I'd be like, yo, I need to tap into the group chat and like tap in, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to, you know what I'm saying? That'd be the moment that I'd be like, yo, I really need to tap in. Or if I'm like, if I see something, I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna share this shit just because, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it is needed sometimes, for sure. I don't even remember what the original question was.
For sure. The original question was just to go ahead and describe, right, your relationship with your wife, Shay.
Oh shit!
Shout
yeah,
out
we
to
got real
homie.
deep into that.
With a song, and you chose
Home Vacation.
I think you said Home Vacation, and Love Yours. And I think it's a really telling description of the relationship that you've like built.
Sure.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. We kind of tapped around something here. And so I want to say thank you for your vulnerability and just being open and honest, right, in this conversation, like so far. Want to talk to you, and I mean, you let me know how we're doing, but I want to talk to you a little bit about mental health, right? And do you have like a go-to song that you listen to if you are having a moment? Or matter of fact, I want to ask you the question like this, right? Think back to a time, right? And if you need to close your eyes, go ahead and do that. But think back to a time, right, where you were at your highest point, right? Think about the people that were there.
God damn it! Hold on 1 second. Hey, babe, I'm doing my interview.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I love you.
I love you, bye.
All right, bye. Shout out to the wifey, man. Shout out to the wifey. All right,
for sure,
bad,
for sure,
bad.
for sure.
All right, let's go back.
No problem, man. Look, we authentic here at Country Fan Mail. So, all right, so let's go ahead, close your eyes, think back about to a time where you were at like your highest point, right? Think back to where you were at, the people who were there, the people who weren't there, what that feeling like meant to you, and let me know when you got it. You can just go ahead and nod your head when you got it.
Yeah.
All right, now that you got it, what song is playing?
Loving It by Little Brother.
Talk to me about that song. What does that song mean? And what does it mean to you?
So this was probably, some people might be like, this is wild, but honestly, the last time that I remember being at like, I'll say like my highest point, this is going back to like ninth grade. And I know it might be, it might be crazy, but I feel like that's probably when a lot of shit about me kind of started to change. So I think it was like ninth, 10th grade. Things were probably the most stable that they had been for a little while as far as our household and shit like that. And, I had a little swag about me, you know what I'm saying? I just bust some guts the year before. So, you know what I'm saying? I got a little swag, I had a little swag about me and shit. I'm in high school and shit. I had a little job. So I was like, I had a little, a little money, and so I was able to buy my own stuff and shit like that. And, I was that kid, like, everybody was wearing Air Forces and Jordans and stuff. And, it's a funny story about Air Force. I could tell another part, but, by the time I got to high school, I was wearing like Vans and ice creams and shit. And people was just like, what the fuck? And then, this was ninth grade year. Everybody was looking at me crazy because I was wearing Vans and ice creams. And then we all went home and came back that summer. And the New Boys came out, and all of a sudden everybody's wearing Vans and ice creams and skinny jeans, and it really irritated me. But I accepted it because I was just like, y'all niggas are supposed to. But yeah, the reason why that song right there. So anybody who went to West Meck, shout out to West Meck High School, West Mecklenburg. When you got off the bus, when the bus is lined up in that parking lot, you got off the bus and you had to walk through. I used to call it like a human tunnel. There was like people on both sides of this little driveway that led to the courtyard, and one side would lead you to the cafeteria and the other side would lead straight to the courtyard, and there would just be niggas on both sides. And there might be like a gang of Bloods on this side, a gang of Crips on this side, like the cheerleaders, everybody kind of sectioned off or whatever. You would have to walk through. And there might be anything happening. If you was gonna get into a fight, that's where the fuck it was gonna happen. Right there or right there in the middle center courtyard. So pretty much like I would just tune out shit. Until I found my homies, I would tune out shit. So I would just put in my earbuds, and that would be one of the main songs that I played. Like I had that song. I had this little MP3 player that had that little toggle stick thing on the side that if you accidentally hit it, it would piss you off because you would like go to the next song. So yeah, that motherfucker, man. And then they came out with the one with the lock on it. I was like, bitch, y'all done fucked up. But yeah. This was before what do you call them? iPods and fucking and remember Zoom? Remember the Zooms? Man, shit. But anyways, yeah, my homie had one of those. Shout out to Matt. But yeah, man, so I had a few of the songs downloaded, and Little Brother was Little Brother Loving It was one of the songs that I had downloaded. My brother, I call him my brother, not my biological brother, but those are my brothers. My brother Matt, his big brother Smidge, he put me on. He was a few years older than us, or he is a few years older than us, so he put us on Little Brother and shit. And it just kind of made me feel like none of that shit really fucking mattered, because I was never really like a street nigga. I tried to dabble into that street shit for a time. Like there was like a time where I tried to dabble in that street shit, and it just wasn't me. Cause it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was just like, all right, so now I'm in, like, what are we doing? yeah, we just out here. It's like, nigga,
Yeah.
for what?
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't equate. You know what I'm saying? I didn't smoke weed. I ain't drink like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. So I was just like, nah, this wasn't my thing. So I got, you know what I'm saying? I was heavy with the dancers. I was, you know, I was one of the first crumpers, if not the first crumper. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. One of the first crumpers, not the first crumper in Charlotte. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Niggas. Shout out to KOC. Shout out to what's his name, Facebreaker. I want to say he's under FUD now. Shout out to Facebreaker. He was right there with me. Shout out to Little Grand Finale. He's under Chosen, one of the big homies from North Carolina. He was right there with me. Shout out to Boogie. Shout out to you know what I'm saying, like they like say literally these homies, like we started crumping in Charlotte back in like, I mean we were in high school, so this was like I'll be fair and say 06, 07 maybe. And this is like right when we're first starting to kind of break out into it. And then maybe around 08, 09, around this time, this is when we found out that we were not at all the only ones. And this is when we found OG Chosen, OG Goblin, Has, Weirdo, you know what I'm saying? Like all these cats, you know what I'm saying? Sector. So this is like the original Sector 7. So yeah, so you're talking about like, you know, history. So anytime I be talking to some of these crumpers, like when I interviewed fucking Mad Geek, I interviewed him the whole time and I had no idea that he was under that he was, you know what I'm saying, little ER and little Proof. I had no idea that he was underneath it. Like I was just like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, niggas don't know me, but I've been around for a while though. I've been in the game for a little while, man. If you would call it that.
Yeah. So for sure. So to me, it sounds like, right, it brings you back to a place or for you, your space, right, of peace was in the midst of, I won't say chaos, right, but in the midst of the crowd, right, your peace was, or at least it sounds like to me, and you, like, I have no problem being wrong. You correct me if I'm wrong. To me, it sounds like your space of peace was going through the crowd to your destination. So your peace was your journey. To me, is what it sounds like. And
as long as I knew that I could get from where I was going to my homies or from the bus to my, and it's not like I was like worried. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, I didn't go to the fucking Dangerous Mind School. It's changing most time. You know, it wasn't like that. West Mac had his shit. Don't get me wrong. West Mac was definitely one of them schools, but it wasn't like that. So it's not like I was worried about getting shanked or no shit like that. But at the end of the day, if somebody did have an issue with you, they was gonna catch you there. And if you weren't with your folk, you was just gonna get got where you got at. So it just is what it is. So it's kind of like it was kind of like a bubble, like a safety bubble, kind of like a, you know what I'm saying, kind of like a thing. It's kind of like if I had to equate that song to a protection thing, it would be kind of like when Hey Arnold would go to his room. And he would be in his room just staring out there. Remember how he would have that peace in his room and he would just see the rain going over that little, that sun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to watch that show. That's a good ass show. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he would get that peace. That was kind of like my peace because I had to go out into the world. But, you know what I'm saying? I had to be able to maneuver in that bitch anyway.
I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to the homie Chris, aka Barricade, because we had a conversation before he left. All of us being a part of that crump community and being so young.
Shout out to Barricade for sure. Shout out to Riot for sure.
I've had
Riot and motherfucking David, yeah.
David, I've had conversations with all of them separately about the same thing, really, where for a lot of us, especially those of us like who weren't necessarily like so, I'll say quote unquote so hood, being able to have that sort of like sense of community, right, amongst people who were all looking for like that sense of like belonging and that being like-minded in some ways was a huge influence like into who we are now, whether that be good or bad, no matter what part of life we're in. To deny right that part, I think would just be,
it wouldn't make sense.
Right. It would be crazy to deny that part, because I mean that played such a huge part into where we are, and we were able to establish so many relationships. So I just want to give a shout out to them, since I had that conversation with them. All right, so you got a little spicy just now, and I'm all here for spice. So we're gonna get spicy. We're gonna get back to this music. I need your top 5 overrated. Dead or alive.
You said overrated? Oh shit!
Overrated.
Right, hold on. Let me send this screenshot to the
dead or alive
real quick. Let me see. Oh, overrated. All right, first one. Future. Since we getting spicy.
They say he's Hov of the South. What do you mean?
He's Hov of the South because he got head nods by Drake, and Drake tied him in and got him plugged in. And I'm not saying that. Okay.
Yes.
All right, listen.
Spice.
Shout out to that black man. I ain't trying to shit on no black man, and I ain't trying to sit up here and say that people should not get what they deserve. But am I a fan? No. Do I think that he truly has talent? Not really. Do I think that there are a lot of other people that could be doing shit like that should? Nope, that's being a hater. I'm just gonna stop there. I'm not a fan, and I don't really think he's like super talented like that. So I think he's a little overrated. I'm gonna stop there at Future. Who else?
That's what I need 4 more names.
Man, this is gonna get so spicy. This is gonna get so fucking spicy. I'm not gonna say anything bad about this lady at all. Not because I'm scared, but because she's literally on a hell of a win right now. But I'm gonna say this for complete transparency.
Don't do it. Because I feel like I know who it is you're about to say. Don't do it.
Beyonce has an amazing album out right now. I'm canceled. Country Family Network's canceled me. This is the last thing to be ever here for me. I'm just playing.
The Beehive is
but I'm not hating.
you.
So I want to say this straight up. Her album out right now is one of the best work of arts that I've ever heard come from her. Some people who love Beyonce do not like this album, and that's okay. And I haven't liked too many things that Beyonce has dropped before this. She has singles. She has things that she's dropped that I love. Like, there's certain things that you can't deny. Halo, you can't deny. Party, you can't fucking deny it. Like, going back to some Destiny's Child joints, you know what I'm saying? I can't deny it. I think it's called Kitty Cat. That one song, like, you can't deny. Like, that shit goes hard. She has some tracks that I really fuck with. But just because she's Beyonce doesn't mean I have to love her. I'm sorry, y'all. Shoot me, sting me. I'm sorry. That's what y'all say. Sting me. I can't do it. So this recent album of hers, I fuck with it, and that leads me into my third artist, Drake. So since we still going, let's go. So Drake. The reason why I say Drake. So I've been a day one Drake fan. I've been a Drake fan since before Young Money. You know what I'm saying? Like early mixtape Drake. Literally mixtape Drake. That phrase, if you know Drake, you know mixtape Drake. So it's like this is before October's Very Own and everything, right? Or at least at the beginning. So it's like the reason why I say overrated, is he a good artist? Is he a great artist? Yes, he is. Same about Beyonce. Good artist, great artist. Yes, they are. Do I feel like if the pressure was put onto Drake that he would make better music? Yes, I would. Do I think that his house album was a house album? No, I don't. I think that album was a compilation of all the singing tracks that he didn't put on his last 3 albums. And I'm not trying to take a dig, but I'm just being honest. None of those tracks sounded any different than those interlude ass singing ass tracks that he has on the regular albums. And I think that he just chose the better ones to put on the albums. Tell me how those songs sound any different than what he had on what was that album called? Was it not Thank Me Later, but the one right after that? No, I'm sorry. See, I said Thank Me Later. I was supposed to say Take Care. So Drake, yeah.
And just to be clear, right? You're not saying that Beyonce or Drake, you're not saying neither one of them are bad artists. You're just saying that you feel
I feel like they're overrated. I feel like if the pressure was put on a little bit differently, like, or if the pressure was kind of maintained, because I feel like back in the day, and of course I wasn't there for it, but we also have recollections and true tales and accounts of how it was, and you could even see in the numbers that if you didn't keep the pressure on these artists to stay current and stay relevant and stay good, if they didn't stay relevant and stay good, you stop listening to them. You stop supporting those artists. As soon as those artists started to flop, you stop. And I'm not trying to say that you should stop fucking with artists just because they flop. But however, if they release something because they're not trying, and it is really a flop, but you're just gonna listen to it just because it's them, no, it doesn't work like that. I'm a diehard Lupe fan, but between Drago's Wave and Drago's the other one, I can't think of it. One of them was trash, and one of them was really good. I don't listen to the other one at all. I'm not gonna listen to it just because it's a Lupe song or just because it's a Lupe track. Just like I'm not gonna listen to anything Kendrick just because it's a Kendrick album. This recent Kendrick album, I like it, but it's probably overall as a whole complete project my least favorite. But I'm not trying to say that it's a bad album. It has some really amazing stuff, and every time I listen to it, I literally find something else more and more that I like. And I did that same thing with Good Kid, Mad City. So, well, actually, no, not Good Kid, Mad City. Section 80. So it's like, because Good Kid, Mad City was pretty much right in your face with it. But so in 5 years, this might be one of my favorite projects for him. But it's like, I have to be honest, even though I'm a Kendrick fan, I'm not going to be like, oh, Kendrick dropped an album, it's a fucking amazing, oh my God. No, it's not like that. Tyler dropped an album this year too, and you guess what? His album was better than Kendrick's. Point blank, period. It doesn't matter who I'm I'm more of a fan of. I'm going to be honest. So that's to say all to clear all that up, you know what I'm saying? I make my jokes about Beyonce, I make my jokes about Drake, you know, shit like that, but at the end of the day, they're both great artists. You know what I'm saying? I think that they both definitely deserve to shine. However, I don't think that mediocrity should be praised. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
I got you.
Yeah.
I hear you. So Drake's album,
his last album for sure.
I got
his last album was mediocre. CLB, I technically had CLB for like 2 years before it came out, but like, I mean, the album was leaked. Like so it's like that was also another like ditch effort. Like you added like 4 tracks to the album that was already leaked. Like niggas really love Drake because they still listen to it. But yeah, I'll stop there.
Yeah, no problem. Again, you know, all this is speculation.
It's all my opinion.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? If anybody ever wants to question me about it, just question me. I ain't got my facts from nowhere but here.
Yeah. It's all speculation. Okay, so that's 3.
Oh man, I got 3 spicy ones. I feel like they kind of bled over. Like I'm sitting up here trying to think of like 2 more. Like fuck, man. You know, okay. Since I did 3, can I just do 3 underrated? Because I don't want to like, or was that the next question?
Yeah, that's
Let me just even it out because like niggas gonna be like, this nigga Klue is a fucking hater. A fucking hater, man.
Oh, this is about to be great.
All right, so my very first underrated artist. You know, a lot of people would say that he wasn't underrated, but I think that he was. Childish Gambino. I think Childish Gambino was extremely underrated as an artist because he had already tapped into the to the industry in so many different ways that even though when he made music, people really fucked with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he had those songs, those big bangs like Summertime and This is America and this like Summer or what, you know what I'm saying? We know what I'm talking about. But like, he had those songs that really tapped in. But as far as like, this man literally taught himself how to sing. Like, he like literally taught himself how to sing. Like, if y'all hear him singing on Camp versus you hear him singing on his more recent stuff, it's kind of like, or even hearing his cover of Tammy, it's like this cat literally, you know what I'm saying, he literally a genius. You know, so I feel like, you know, and I was watching some, you know, we were kind of talking about it in the group chat the other day. This guy online, this might be speculative as well, but he was talking about how the show Atlanta was based off of Childish Gambino's Because of the Internet album, pretty much showing how the you know what I'm saying, I know you haven't seen it, which I'm tripping that you haven't seen that shit, my nigga. Like, what the fuck?
All right.
I'm sorry, my bad. I had to put
everybody
you
out there.
my bad.
Okay.
Hey, Childish
cool.
Gambino, if you
It's
listen,
cool.
send
It's
him
cool. It's
all
cool.
the seasons. Send it to his address. He won't mind it. So sign him first. But anyway, so it was like they said it was based off of his Because of the Internet album, was pretty much showing how Alfred, or you know, the rapper, go through this phase where it starts off and like he's just a rapper, he's trying to make it, but he hates what it looks like to be big. He hates the club, he hates the paparazzi, he hates interviews. He just like, but then by the time you get to the fourth season, this nigga walking around Paris, he got fucking bowler hat on, he's taking pictures, he's just like, yeah, he's like, and they just like, fuck, like, so like, and it's crazy how it brings it all back forward. I don't want to ruin it for you because you're gonna watch it, but it's it was just a really dope way how it kind of all went around. So yeah, he was probably number one underrated, because I feel like people that can take their music beyond the headphones, I'll say, it should be recognized more. Secondly, I know you're probably gonna be like, how the fuck does this even make sense? But Beyonce. So the reason why I wanted to say that is because anytime that I talk shit about somebody, I try my best to find good things about them, because I want to make sure that if I'm gonna call you a shitty person, I need to know that you're a shitty person, right? So one of the times that I was being a hating ass nigga and I was just talking shit about Beyonce, and then somebody said something to me and I actually had to look it up, and I actually saw the musical contributions that she's actually put into her work and the people that she's actually had involved with her work, especially like with the Lion King soundtrack and the things that she's done for I don't know if it was Black Panther, but she had done, you know, but the more, I think it was just the Lion King that she did those productions for, and you know what she's done for the South, for New Orleans, and for the bounce culture, and for HBCUs, and you know, regardless if I appreciate her as an artist or not, or excuse me, regardless if I like her as an artist or not, I appreciate her as an artist from what she's doing for the actual culture. And I think that me being an anti-Beyonce is, I have to respect her as what she's doing for the culture. Like, I have to respect that. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, if people just ain't putting into the culture and you're a shitty artist, I'm gonna be like, okay, like, you're just a shitty person, right? So yeah, I just think that Beyonce makes shitty songs, but I'm just playing. Let me correct. I'm just playing. No, like I said, but for real, overall, I really do respect her. You know, so just because I don't like her music doesn't mean that I don't respect her. That. And then another underrated artist, man, that's actually a really good question. You know, it's so hard, man.
While
I
you're
have so
thinking
many people
that,
that I talk to, and you know, I'm
yeah,
just gonna start throwing out people that I love. You know, I'm gonna throw in that third spot for y'all to be positioned with Childish Gambino and Beyonce. Like, I'm throwing in that third spot. You got Kobe Hines, you got Cuzzo Key, you got Makita Iroquois, you got Sean Bennett, you got HB Fast, you got Little Six, you got motherfucking Trife, Triff Music. She says don't call it Trife, but it got Triff Music. You got motherfucking oh man, like, I mean, there's just so many people that London Jared, Sensical Sense, the Mad Geek, so many people that I've had the opportunity to, you as a DJ, honestly, I feel like, and I tweeted this a little while ago, and I posted it on my profile, and I mean it. And it's one of those things that, like, if y'all gonna go find some old tweets of me in 10 years, find this tweet, because like I feel like I posted, and I was just like, I'm building a catalog of greats of people's first interviews. Like the first, like I'm getting so many people that I speak to because I only want to speak to people who really aren't famous. Like, I mean, I've had the pleasure of speaking to some people who are movers and shakers in the game, and it's hella appreciative, and definitely for the purposes of being able to share their knowledge and their stuff with everybody else who listens to my profile. But mass majority of my interviews are people who are not famous, local listeners, local followings, type shit like that. And majority of them that I'm speaking to, they're just like, yo, this is my first interview, or I've maybe done 2 interviews, or da 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 da. Mass majority of them is their first interview. So in my mind, I'm just like, I really, when I reach out to these people, like, I really be like, yo, I see something, I hear something, I see something. I'm not saying that I'm Babyface, or I'm fucking or I'm Gotti, or I'm fucking Jay Prince, but I think I have a good ear for music. So when I see something, I like to be like, yeah, I really think you're going to do some shit if you stick with it. You know what I'm saying? So I like to say that when giving these people, their first interviews, hopefully, I'm not saying that I'm gonna ask for anything back, but hopefully it is in a full circle sense that when they're doing some shit, it'll be like, yeah, I had my first interview on Country Fan Mail. I did my first interview with Country Fan Mail. Not because I give a fuck about talking to Breakfast Club. Not because I give a fuck about talking to any of them motherfuckers. I want all them other people who's trying to be rappers, who's trying to be producers, who's trying to be musicians, who's leading community projects, who's young CEOs, all this shit. Like, I want them to be like, I need to go to Country Fan Mail for an interview. Cause like I said, I don't want to change that. I don't want it to ever look different. I don't want that 4th seat on any of those big podcasts, because it's just like, and then what? Then we gonna talk to all the same famous people? Like, all these same famous people, they do all these promo runs, and you'll see them on every single big podcast. And it's just like, how many fucking times am I going to watch an interview of the same person? Like, how many times am I going to watch an interview of the same person? It's just like, I get it, but no, I don't. So it's like, these people that I know, all of us, we have these people in our lives that are doing something. And like I said, not just artists, but these people in our lives that are just doing something, that have something going for themselves. So that people that be sending you that text about their show, come support them at their show. They send you their link for their business. They send you all these things like that. And they're really out there trying to grind and do other things, regardless if it's something that you fuck with or not, but you see them out there doing that shit, that artist, that entrepreneur, whatever, all that shit. They have a story, and that story needs to be heard. I don't know where the fuck this accent's coming in. Hard. This story needs to be heard. So it's like, and it doesn't just need to be heard when they're famous. And sometimes their story not being heard is the reason why they don't stick with their fucking plan. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes because nobody was listening is the reason why they stopped fucking doing it. Because trust me, when I was getting 20 listens per episode and I was dropping 4 episodes a week, that ain't a lot, my nigga. And I was frustrated as fuck. And you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it took, you know what I'm saying, it took that push. It took people really, you know what I'm saying, really being like, hey, I don't know who's listening, but I'm listening. And being like, damn, one of those listens is somebody that I actually know. And that's what actually motivated, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for people to actually, you know what I'm saying, get that experience, you know what I'm saying, it makes me feel good. I don't do it for me. I don't do it for me at all. I don't want to sound generic and be like, I do it for the culture. But I mean, it's like, I kind of just do it. I do it for them. You know what I'm saying? I do it, and it's you know, one of my homies, shout out to Skinny J, in Charlotte. He says, you know, it's never really about me. It's for my friends. I can't even really fully say that, because I don't really know all these people that I'm reaching out to. I don't really know them sometimes from you know what I'm saying, like the Christians say, from Adam or Eve. So it's like, I don't really know them, but I want to see them prosper. I want to see them, you know what I'm saying, move forward. And I really want to see, you know what I'm saying, something really happen with what they're doing. So it gives me, you know, it makes me feel good to be able to help them out and you know, be able to get their shit out there. at least be a trial run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah.
your trial run interview, if
Yeah.
you're on the interview, and then you go on to the next interview and you straight, cool. I fuck up on Country Fan Mail. I'm
Yeah.
good with that. I'm completely okay with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, and I think really this is just a good way to sort of wrap up this interview. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say I'm gonna say something. I don't know if it's gonna end up being like three different things, but I'm gonna say something. Um, One of my colleagues and I'll say mentor from work, uh, from where I work. He went to HBCU. He went to Lincoln over there in PA, Lincoln University. I believe it's Lincoln. But he had a teacher there. Teacher's name, I think it was Dr. Babatunde. Forgive me if I got the professor wrong, but he had a quote that he said in class that had stuck with my mentor, and that mentor slash like big brother passed it on to me. And so that quote was, "When your life is good, it no longer belongs to you; it belongs to the community." And for a long time, up until just now, really doing this interview, I've only really thought about that in terms of just like education, right? Coming from a doctor, hearing this about school, but truth be told, it can be done in many facets, right? Where you providing this platform, right, for people to express express what their dreams are, where they come from, and really just introduce themselves to the world, right? And that's really what a lot of people are looking for, right? You sort of giving them this platform is, we won't say giving back to the culture, but it's your way of giving back to the community, right? Good doesn't necessarily mean educated, doesn't necessarily mean well off or rich. I think if you had tried to do this 5 years ago, right, knowing where your life was, and remember, I knew what was going on at that time. I knew what was going on at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Respectfully. Respectfully. If you had tried to do this at that time, the chaos that would have occurred, your dream would have been crushed before you even got to realize it.
Yeah.
But now where you are, right? You're at a point in where your life is good, right? Your life is good, and now you have this ability to be able to give back to the community. Did you start, what's that school that LeBron did? I think it's like I Promise or the I Dream school. Is it that? No. Are you giving out scholarships and paying off student debt? No. But that doesn't make your contribution any less. There are artists out here who are just looking for this sort of
recognition, I guess. Yeah.
pathway or venue to be able to, again, introduce themselves. And so definitely got to give honor where honor is due, man. Thank you for what you're doing, what you will continue to do. Thank you for what you've done, the interviews that you've completed. Man, it is truly been awesome to see you like grow, not give up on your dreams. I remember whenever you first started, I said, man, if you're going to do this, just be consistent and stay consistent. Thank you for being vulnerable, being willing to listen to that person, because I think as men sometimes, right, being that we have to provide, we need to be able to have that sort of stability. And so you sticking with your dream and going into unknown territory without that sort of stability. I know how hard that was, and I know how hard that is. So yeah, man. Again, got to give honor to you, and yeah, just for following this path, bro.
That was
sure.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you first and foremost, man. Y'all definitely heard me say on other podcasts, but y'all definitely heard me say the last time he was on the podcast. But this guy right here, for real, like he said just that when I told him, when I was like, I'm gonna start this podcast, he was like, yo, if you're gonna start doing these interviews, just stay consistent. That's literally what he said, and that's what it's been. And yeah, you speaking real shit. You know what I'm saying? Had I tried to go in with this type of pressure 5 years ago, and it's crazy, because I've been doing the podcast portion of it for about about 2 years, but I was doing the music reviews maybe about, I guess maybe about 4 years, about 4 years ago, and maybe 5 years ago, and I was doing some stuff on Facebook, and I partnered with somebody at one point, and we were doing Facebook Lives, and they fell off, and they went and started doing their own thing. Didn't tell me shit. But what I'm saying, yeah, shout out to them, whoever they are. But I just, it was eye opening for me, because it didn't have to be like that. But then it also just showed me that it wasn't my time. Because had I just wanted to just jump out there and do it like that, I probably wouldn't exist right now like they don't. So I had to, really kind of really realize, I don't take jabs. I just talk truth. So it is what it is. So yeah, I like I said, I'm and also shout out to my last interview, Sean Bennett. He said something very similar. He was just like, I feel like where I'm at right now as an artist, he was like, I'm successful. He was like, if this is where I make it, this is where I make it. He was like, am I multi-platinum? He's like, nah. He was like, but shit, I'm doing pretty good. He was like, I got a little listenership. He's like, I done built another platform off for this. Oh, shout out to Overlooked Heroes. He got something else going. So he was like, I'm fucking successful. So it was like, and I was literally just talking to my wife about this. I was just like, I'm at this place. It's crazy. That's how we bros. Cause I was like, and I promise you, just a couple of days ago, I was like, I'm at this place where if this is the peak, if this is where it goes, like, do I want a little bit more? Yeah, but if this is the peak, all right. You know what I'm saying? Or if this is where it's going to be for a while, I'm good there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I said stress about, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause everybody wants that moment. Everybody wants that opportunity to have that pop and that moment where it's just like, boom, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, there could be a whole bunch of dumb shit that I could be out here doing online to have that moment too. And I could be, you know what I'm saying, talking about drama and interviewing people about drama and shit like that. But I was just like, nah, fuck that. I based my platform about the exact opposite. If you got drama, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got interviews that I did not even I didn't publish, or we jointly decided not to publish it because there was some drama discussed about real life shit. And manager and all this shit like that, they were just like, nah, don't publish that. We're going to redo that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not what my platform's about. That's not what people should be about. And that's just not how I'm going to get my come up. If I never become famous because I never talked about some bullshit, then I'm good with that. So yeah, that's pretty much, anybody that comes on my platform, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to worry about anything like that. Anybody that's been on my platform, they already know I ask a couple questions. And one of my questions is there anything that you don't want me to talk about? Tell me, and I won't talk about it. Because, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to be like, hey, don't talk about my charges. And when you get on here and be like, so tell me about that time that, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You gonna have a nigga on there like goddamn Chris Brown when goddamn old girl was asking him about Rihanna. Like, I just told you not to ask me about Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then y'all gonna say he got mad. But I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I just shout out to Shay in the background. Shout out to you. But yeah, man. But yeah, man. Like I said, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate for real, that group chat, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are literally the reason why I was like, there needs to be a podcast that like talks about some shit, because we would have debates. I'm talking about literally y'all. There's another group chat, another thread that we had to trash, but there was another thread, a group chat. But there's just
and it was
Man,
Stay Dead.
It was Stay Dead. I'm trying to tell you these years and years of musical debates that we've had in that chat, and it's just things like that for real. That like they keep me going because, like I said, I don't know who these listeners are. I don't know who these people are that are listening to me. Not all of them, at least, or not even a fraction. I only know a fraction of them, but whoever y'all are, I fuck with y'all. And hopefully y'all keep fucking with the content. If y'all have any suggestions about the content, please reach out, talk to me. At least if y'all follow me on Instagram, I know who the fuck y'all are. So I'm saying KlueDaDon on Instagram. Hit me up so I know who y'all are. Follow my baby Pisces Princess. That is Pisces with the PRNSS. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. And thank you, like I said, thank you to you, man. Like when you first had brought it up, I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I don't think I'm at the place where I need an interview of myself yet. Like I feel like I don't even know if David Letterman's ever had an interview. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if it's so I was just like, who the fuck am I to need an interview, right? But hey, I appreciate it either way. You know what I'm saying? I think that it might, at least make people feel a little bit more comfortable about the, voice that they're hearing and the fucked up mind behind it. So. Oh, sure. And I'm sorry, real quick. Sure. I want to plug in something. To know more about this fucked up mind behind these words, I'm gonna be dropping another podcast that I'm working on. It's a long time coming. It's gonna be a completely different shift from what y'all have heard recently. Is gonna be called Not Transition Ready. It's gonna be a podcast talking about my military career, and gonna be talking about just my experience, my battles, current and former battles with alcoholism and mental stability, PTSD, all those things. So it's going to be, first season is going to be short series, probably just 4 episodes, 1 episode for every year that I was in. I was there for a little over 4 years. And then, then we'll just kind of go from there. So yeah, completely different. Not going to be about music, not going to be about, me and Pisces and nothing like that, but it's just gonna be some deep shit. So I definitely hopefully y'all tap in. If y'all know anybody, veterans, anybody who's still in the military, anybody who y'all know might be dealing with anything like that, dealing with any type of mental health, and that I think I might have skated around your question actually. When you asked me about mental health, now that I'm thinking about it, you asked me how I was doing. So I'm gonna be really quick. Overall, I'm doing okay, but do I still struggle? Yes, I do. It's a daily basis. Mornings are really tough for me. Extremely tough for me. If I'm gonna feel low in the day, it's gonna be in the morning. So yeah, usually mornings are extremely tough. If I need to cry, if I need to yell, if I need to say get something out, that's when I go to the gym. That's when I really kind of get out in the morning because those are really tough for me. So ultimately, mental health is I'm okay, but definitely still trying to get there. But to hear more, make sure you tap in with Not Transition Ready podcast.
For sure. Oh man. Man, this has been a great experience. I've really enjoyed it. Again, thank you for opening up your platform, man. So,
already, man. Thank you for tapping in, man. And let everybody know where they can follow you and where they can definitely tap in, because I'm waiting for you to start dropping these mixtapes and mix CDs and stuff. I don't know what's going on, but
man. You can just follow me on Instagram, DJ underscore. I think it's underscore MED. I can't remember where I put the underscore at. DJ underscore MED05. Again, man, I am just somebody who appreciates DJ underscore MED05. Sorry. I'm just somebody who just appreciates music, and I enjoy creating moments.
Nigga dance his ass off. What does MED stand for?
I'm all right. MED stands for Make 'em Dance. But as a DJ, I feel like that's part of your job. Make people dance. So that's where that stems from. But yeah, man, it's that's where you can follow
Already,
me at. That's where I'm most active. DJ underscore MED05 on Instagram.
already.
So
Yeah,
for
make sure
sure.
that y'all follow him. Make sure that y'all link in. If y'all are in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, you still spinning? You still out there? You still spinning?
Yeah, man, you can actually catch me at in Annandale, a place called Cafe Tua. I'll be there. I'm there regularly. That's like sort of my residency now. But you can catch me there on August the
Already.
20th for
Make sure
sure.
that y'all tap in Cafe Tua, Annandale, Virginia. Thank y'all for everybody listening. Thank y'all for everybody tapping in. Country Family Podcast, Clue the motherfucking Don. Say my interview. Man, I'm probably not gonna rewatch this shit, so I'm just gonna upload it, just raw as fuck. But yeah.